So hey there, guys, welcome back. Hey, it's Josh Cantwell, and welcome back to Accelerated Real Estate Investor. Today, I have a special treat for you. Today, we're going to talk specifically about ways to do true value add apartment deals and multifamily deals, and 10 specific techniques and strategies to drive income and reduce expenses. Welcome to the next episode of Accelerated Real Estate Investor. Here we go.
Welcome to the Accelerated Investor Podcast with Josh Cantwell. If you're looking to retire early with forever passive income, you're in the right place. This podcast is the go-to destination for real estate investors, both active and passive, and multifamily apartment investors, both new, intermediate, and advanced. Now, sit back, listen, learn, and accelerate your business, your life, and your investing with the Accelerated Investor Podcast.
Okay, so let's jump into some of these new strategies. I thought I would share this with you today because I actually just did a webinar yesterday. I had a few hundred people on a webinar. We were specifically discussing a new 250 unit apartment deal that we have under letter of intent. We are about to get it under PSA, and we're about to go into our due diligence phase. And I was inviting a number of our investors onto a webinar to talk about some of our specific strategies for how we drive income, how we reduce expenses, and talk about some of these high-level details of this 250 unit that we're buying. And I thought, hey, let me just re-record this and share this with all of our audience, not just the folks on our email marketing list and our webinars. I thought I would share this with you as well. So these are the specific things that we're going to do to this building, this 250 unit, and the other buildings that we own to add value, drive income, reduce expenses. There's 10 specific strategies that we have and that we use. So let's jump into those. The very first strategy to drive additional income is to improve the resident experience, right? Improve the actual building structure and upgrade the units, okay? So when you think about income, you think about your apartment buildings and how you're gonna make more money, people will always pay a premium for a great experience, right? Like you can go to any casino in Vegas, but you're gonna pay $400 a night for the room at the Wynn, or $400 a room for a night at a class 5 amazing casino. Or you can spend $50 a night or even get a free room at some dumpy old casino down the strip. People will pay more for a better experience, okay? You can buy a suit. You could buy a suit for $50, or you could buy a suit for $2,000 because of the way it's made, but also because of the experience when you walk into the suit shop like I have and put on a $1,000 suit. It's how you're treated in the store that is part of the reason why you're willing to pay more. So in our apartment complexes, we have to improve the resident experience, meaning the staff has to be prepped and ready to answer questions. Maintenance tickets and trouble calls have to be answered and taken care of within 24 hours. The staff has to be available, friendly, dressed up in a uniform, and they have to know when the office hours are. The resident, the staff, the property management team needs to know people by their name, by their first name, okay? Different ways to improve the grounds with amenities, dog parks, playgrounds, laundry, covered parking. How can we improve the resident experience? That's number one. Number two, how can we improve the building? So fixing leaks, again, adding amenities, maybe changing some of the layout of the buildings or the layouts of the parking lots, sealing and striping driveways. And then finally, of course, upgrading units and just flat out having nicer, better units than all of our competition. This is our number one strategy for driving income, okay? That allows us to raise the rent. So how do we drive income? Well, look, the second way that we drive income is by simply raising rents. You'd be surprised by how many buildings I look at and how many buildings we offer on where the rents are simply below market value. They're just not raising rents. So a number of our property management companies that we work with, they have what's called dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing simply means that they actually change the pricing of the unit on a daily basis or a monthly basis or a seasonal basis to match up with what people are willing to pay. So if it's in the summertime, a lot of people move in the summertime, weather's nicer, maybe they're in between jobs or schools, and they have more time to move while their kids are not in school or they're not in school. That's a time to raise the rents based on seasonal rent rates. Okay. You look at what's happening right now, especially in like the Texas market, rents are up 20% year over year. Okay. Even in my area of Cleveland, Ohio, and other areas that we operate in, rents are up 3 to 7%. Okay. So we drive income by simply raising rents and paying attention to the seasonal time of the market, and also when there's an inflationary period like there is now.
In my newest real estate investing book, The Flip System, you'll learn the proven secrets and strategies that I've used to be a successful real estate investor. You'll also hear the story of my journey from quitting my job to doing over 2,000 units of apartments. The Flip System is now available for a limited time, and you can grab your free copy at getflipsystem.com/podcast. You'll learn the same proven principles and secrets and investing strategies that I used to quit my job and pursue a life of financial freedom. In this book, I'm sharing exactly how I was able to personally close over 750 profitable real estate deals, make over 400 private lender loans, raise over $30 million, and acquire over 2,000 units of cash flowing apartments. Get my newest book now for free at getflipsystem.com/podcast. That's getflipsystem.com/podcast.
Number 3, lower utility costs with things like LED lights. Actually, I had a meeting this week with a gentleman. His name is also Josh. And Josh actually owns his own consulting company where he looks at the cost of electricity, the cost of gas, and the cost of Wi-Fi, internet, and cable. He has a specific consulting business where he comes in and works with multifamily and apartment owners to reduce the cost of electricity, reduce the cost of gas. He locks in bulk contracts, then he marks up those contracts slightly, offers those contracts to us. He also locks in Wi-Fi, internet for the entire building. Then we essentially resell the internet access to the residents. So instead of them having just internet access in their unit, they have internet access in their unit, but also in the hallways, in the common spaces, basically in the dog parks, outside, and even in the parking lots. The internet covers the entire complex. So we're able to lower utility costs, okay? Gas, electric, LED lights, lithium ion batteries, also negotiating better contracts, and then charging those back to the residents, right? So that's number 4, is bill back utility expenses back to the residents. Again, so many different ways that you can say, okay, I'm gonna bill back part of the water and sewer, bill back part of the electric, part of the gas, again, the internet, back to the residents. These are all benefits and features that you're offering. Bill it back. That's number 4. Number 5, run a cost segregation study. Cost segregation study simply means it's an accounting function where you have a special accounting team, a firm come in and look at segregating the cost of the building. Within the cost of the building, you have true hard costs of the building, the actual structure itself, the parking lot, okay? Then you have all of the soft part of the building. Maybe it's your laundry, maybe it's your management office, maybe it's the common spaces, okay? These are soft costs that can be written off much, much faster, okay? And so as you segregate the cost of the building that we bought, we can actually depreciate and write off more of the building much faster, okay? So that's a 5th way to drive income and reduce expenses and taxes. Number 6 is eliminate poor management. I can't even tell you, almost every building I've bought ever has had poor management. It was either a mom and pop owner trying to figure things out and managing it themselves, or they hired a third-party manager and they were just getting raked over the coals by a third-party management company with a 60, 70, 80% expense ratio. Eliminate poor management. Number 7, quickly turn units and fill them. I bought a building a couple months ago. It was 220 units. We paid $11.65 million for it. And when we took over the building, I was baffled to find out that there were units that had been sitting vacant for 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years. And we've got guys that can turn a unit in 10 business days. Like literally demo it out, rip out the kitchen, rip out the bathroom, all the flooring, completely replace the kitchen with white checker cabinets, black matted hardware, new appliances, new LVP flooring, new trim, new quarter round, new electrical panel, and the entire bathroom, all the lighting, paint, carpet, trim, flooring, you name it, 10 business days. This guy, we bought the building, had these units vacant for 2 and 3 years, right? So the seventh way to drive income and reduce expenses is quickly turn units as soon as the resident moves out. Number 8, cable and internet bill backs. I kind of already covered this one when I was talking about billing back utility expenses, but specifically cable and internet, right? Everybody, especially in a COVID environment, especially in a work from home environment, a school from home environment, right? Very good, fast internet is super, super important. Okay. So there's ways to bring in one internet provider to cover your entire building. And maybe all your residents are paying $80 a month, $100 a month for internet on their own. You lock in a contract where you're getting the internet for, let's say, $40 a month per unit, maybe $50 a month, and you resell it back to all of the people on your campus for, let's say, $70 or $75 per unit.
Are you ready to automate and explode your real estate investing? We're searching for extremely motivated individuals who are sick and tired of wasting time and want to finally see real results from their real estate investing business. We're searching for investors looking to get to the next level and become a bigger, better version of themselves while being a more successful real estate investing entrepreneur. Apply for mentoring and coaching at joshcantwellcoaching.com/podcast. That's joshcantwellcoaching.com/podcast.
Number 9, water conservation program, right? So on every building that we buy, we institute a low flow everything game plan. Low flow everything. Low flow toilets, low flow shower heads, low flow faucets, right? We institute a low flow everything program. It costs us about $300 to $400 a unit. And that allows us to drastically reduce the water and sewer usage, typically allowing us to reduce the water and sewer bill by about 25%. I have a building that we just offered on. The water and sewer bill alone was $400,000. If we're able to get that building and institute a water conservation program and reduce the bill by 25%, that means we're going to reduce the water and sewer bill down to $300,000. That $100,000 of extra income at a 6 cap is worth $1.66 million. Okay. Also in our water conservation program, fix leaks quickly. I'll give you another example. We bought an 80-unit building. This is going on about a year ago. And as we did our water conservation program, we realized that almost half, 40 of the 80 units, had leaks in the bathtubs that were constant. They were leaking all day, all the time, for months or years. So of course, fixing those kind of leaks, getting your arms around it, again, good property management, identifying leaks, fixing them permanently. So what we did is we went back into the back of the showers and changed the diverters. Okay. We chopped out the old cast iron plumbing. We put in PVC. We changed the diverter, fixed the leak permanently. Finally, number 10 is to get multiple quotes from third-party contractors. I'm baffled at the difference in pricing for some things. We just sealed and striped one of our driveways at a 200 unit that we own. We sent out kind of a request for quote or request for proposal. And we had about 5 or 6 different proposals come back to seal and stripe all the driveways. There's about 250 parking spots on this campus, 250 parking spots. And We got quotes back for $50,000, $60,000, $75,000 from third-party contractors to seal and stripe and mark all the parking spots. Guess what we ended up paying? We sealed and striped 20 buildings. It's a 7-acre campus, 20 buildings, 250 parking spots for $17,000. Okay. Instead of paying 60, 70 grand, we paid $17,000. We saved a tremendous amount of money, tremendous amount of time, because we got multiple quotes from third-party contractors. Okay. So there you have it. There's 10 true ways to add value to your buildings, drive income, and reduce expenses. 1, improve the resident experience. 2, raise the rents organically. 3, lower your utility costs for gas and electric. 4, bill back the utility expenses back to the residents. 5, run a cost segregation study. 6, eliminate poor management. 7, quickly turn units and fill them. 8, cable and internet bill backs. 9, institute a water conservation program. Save about 25 to 35% with that one. And 10, get multiple quotes from third-party contractors for all your trash, all of your landscaping, snow removal, and some of your CapEx items. You're going to save hundreds of thousands of dollars instituting these 10 strategies. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that quick solo cast on our 10 strategies for adding true value, driving income, and reducing expenses. I want to tell you, if you have a question, if you're looking to do a multifamily deal, and maybe you need a joint venture partner, maybe that's us. Maybe you need a key person in your business to either sponsor loans or raise capital or do the value add construction or help institute property management or sign for a loan. If you need help with any of those, we're looking for joint venture partners. We're looking for more deal flow. As I record this, I've got $20 million of private capital that has to get placed with my own investors and my own money that needs to get placed into deals in the next 3 to 6 months or less. $20 million that I've got to spend. So if that's you, if you're looking for deals, if you've got deals, you're looking for a JV partner or a key person to help you with some of your deals, please reach out to us. Go to freelandventures.com, freelandventures.com/passive. Visit one of those websites and make sure you reach out to our customer service department and let's get on the phone and let's talk. Let's JV on a deal. Let's make some money. All right. Also, don't forget to leave us rating review time, 5-star rating, 5-star review. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel so you never miss another episode of Accelerated Real Estate Investor. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.
Hey, Josh here, and do you want to win a free Accelerated Investor t-shirt? All you have to do is give Accelerated Investor, our podcast, Accelerated Investor, a rating and a review on iTunes, okay? Do that now. Then send us a screenshot on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. What we're gonna do then is every week we're gonna pick our favorite rating and review, and we're gonna send that person a free t-shirt and maybe, again, some other cool, fun stuff as well from Accelerated Investors. So, again, don't forget to take a screenshot. Leave a rating, review, take a screenshot, send it to us so we know exactly who you are. And then once a week, every week on the podcast, we will announce a new winner. Don't forget to take a screenshot and send it to us so we know exactly who you are. We'll announce a new winner every week.
You were just listening to the Accelerated Real Estate Investor Podcast with Josh Cantwell. If you enjoyed this episode and learned something new, help us build our community by leaving a review and 5-star rating on our iTunes podcast channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. To see passive investing opportunities, visit freelandventures.com/passive. To start your journey toward the lifestyle you've always dreamed of with multifamily apartments, apply for one-on-one coaching with Josh at joshcantwellcoaching.com.